Hello, everybody. The last lecture, we rounded up by looking at the exile of the two Israelite kingdoms, Judah and the one that retained the name of the collective of the Israelites before they broke into Judah and Israel. That is Israel and Judah. The Judeans, the Judahites, were conquered and exiled by the Babylonians. They were the last group to be exiled, while the Israelites were exiled by the Assyrians. Then we had a look at the prophets. We discussed what qualified some to be major prophets. Their books were longer, books like Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, while the minor prophets were those prophets, their books were smaller in size. The prophets were not called major or minor because of the profundity of their works. All their works were profound. They have a lot to teach us. But in academia, the wise people that organize the study of the Bible prefer to look at it that way. If your book is short, you become a minor prophet. Like in this category, you would find prophets like Amos, Hosea, Habakkuk, and so on and so forth. While I mentioned some you will find in the major category. Then now we are going to look at other books that entered the canon of the people of Israel. That is you would know them more as the Jewish people. But if you refer to them as Israelites, that's acceptable to us. If you refer to them as the Hebrew people, that's also acceptable to us. If you call them the Igbos, that's also acceptable to us. Their own scriptures or Bible is what the Christians call the Old Testament, but they themselves call it the Hebrew scriptures. We would look at some other books that entered the canon of the religion of this category of people that I just spoke about, and also entered the canon of the Christians. Remember, the primary or the Bible of the Christians is both the Old and the New Testament, while the Bible of the Israelites or the Jews or the Hebrews or the Igbos is only what you know as the Old Testament. And remember, I think at a point I also mentioned that even when you get into the Bible of the Christians, the Catholic Bible is slightly different from the Protestant Bible. So all these points are they are necessary for you to have a faint idea or an idea of them, so that when you encounter them in your readings, they will not be totally new to you. Now we will look at some of those books that in Hebrew they will be called the Ketuvim. By the way, the first 5 books of the Bible, the Jews or the Israelites or the Hebrews call them Torah. Then the prophets are called the Nevi'im, while the category of books we are looking at now, they are viewed as writings, are called the Ketuvim. In this category of writings, you would find books like the Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes, the book of Psalms, the book of Proverbs. They enter the canon of these people of these people of Israel, and we can learn a lot from them too. If you are very familiar with the books I mentioned, or even if you are not very familiar with them, but you read some of them, you would see why they entered the canon, why they became part of the scriptures of the Jews or Israelites or Hebrews or Igbos. They contain a lot of wisdom. Like if you go through the book of Job, you would find out how a man persevered in spite of all tribulations. He refused to do the wrong things, and ultimately his life became better. The writer of that book was using that experience to teach something to contemporary, to both ancient people and modern people. And the book of Psalms, if you read them, you would find out how the scribes of the Israelites were able to bring together their thoughts profoundly and save so much information that we still find meaningful thousands of years after they conceived these their thoughts. The purpose of all this is to help us to make meaning of the world. Like if you are reading some of these books, there are questions of life that ordinarily we will not be able to grapple with. But because there are people who have looked at them before, use them to understand the world, we see something to lean on. That is what I want you to take away from this section of the Bible that I mentioned now. From here, we will depart to a period we usually refer to